What's going on, everybody? MVP Collectables back here again today with another review for all of you fine folks out there. This is going to be the StarFire premium format exclusive figure by Sideshow Collectables. We will begin with the art box here. So this is what it comes with. An image, of course, like always, of the statue itself on the front. The side is just going to be a continuation of that purpley orange kind of fire. The back, same thing kind of on the bottom, sideshow.com, the fire, and then it says StarFire. The other side, same thing. And then I'm just trying to get a good angle on the top here. The top is just gonna say StarFire. So there we go. We can now move that mostly out of the frame, and we can talk about StarFire. I understand the lighting, you guys can't see a lot right now, don't worry. That will change. So just quickly, how this is going to work, this review. I'm gonna give you my overall impressions. Then I'm gonna go over positives and negatives. I'm going to give you top to bottom opinions. After that, I'm going to move on and quickly go from top to bottom on close-ups. Once that is done, so this statue is so bright and there's so many cool colors and stuff that I've actually decided to take in-depth photos of this statue, something I haven't done very often, and it's something that the camera doesn't really pick up for you guys as well as the photos. So I'm going to be narrating some photos. Don't worry, you'll be able to see them. I'll be able to put them up. So that will happen then. After that, so basically for my reviews, I put things into a category. There's 5 categories. There's 5 categories. You number them 1 to 10. 10 being the greatest thing ever, a masterpiece, the greatest port of a statue ever, pretty much. And then down to like terrible. So I have 5 different categories. I'll get into those once that section begins. Once that is done, my wrap up. So this should be a fairly long review. But let's start overall right now with just the quick positives and negatives about this piece. We will begin with the negatives because I like to normally give the negatives or get the negatives out of the way first. The biggest negative about this statue is going to be all the seams. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, if you want to count all of them, you can probably come up with 6 to 8. Now, that's mostly because this statue is, if anyone watches my unboxing, go check that out. It's up on my channel right now. Anyone that watches that, you know that this part of the base is separate, so there's going to be a seam there. But also, it is made, you can definitely tell this is made in several different parts in the production, and then they, glued it together. There's a big seam here in the file. You guys will be able to see that in the close-ups. Big seam here. There's a decent-sized seam in her hair, but that's not as bad as I thought it would be. So the seams are the biggest negative. There's also some other seams in the base and stuff. The other negative for me is that, and you guys can't really tell this because of the lighting right here, but the curls on her left side of her hair. These ones right here, the way that they look, and you guys can even tell that there by the photo on the box. The way that they are sculpted and the way they look, it looks as if they broke off. They didn't because they're fully painted, and if something breaks off, it would be a white, or you can tell. But I actually had to look, and did that break? Because it really looks like 2 of the coals especially look like they're broken. So I wish that they would have done them completely, so that's a negative. Another negative is she does have a in my unboxing I said that I couldn't find any QC issues. She does have a couple. One of them is bigger than others, and it's just a small little paint chip thing that it's not the end of the world, but it is there. And so that's basically the negatives. There's also her hands aren't the best sculpted. They're good. They're not anything better than good. Like you can't really tell fingers are basically just straight. There's not really too much sculpt, and I get that. You know, like it's a little nitpick, but still. Besides that, that's basically it for the negatives. This statue doesn't have very many negatives. It is a fabulous statue. Positives. The paint, the colors of this, like, for you guys right now, you can't really even tell that. You can tell that that's green, but not by much. It's a vivid, bright green color. And that's the main reason I actually decided to give you guys pictures, because the camera is not picking that up. But the paint, she does have a small, very, very small amount of two of the paint colors like conjoining, and that's where her suit here is touching her right breast. So it's very small, but it is there, but it's not on her left. So but other than that, the paint on this thing is crazy. I do wish maybe a little bit. I just realized. And I found another small little QC issue. Her boots are, I mean, they're good. They could have maybe done a little bit with a different shade. It's all just one color. Back to a very small negative here. This foot here is not actually touching the flame. I think it's supposed to be. It's not. But okay, so basically that's the positives. The pose is good. The pose and design is good. We'll get into that into the categories. But that's basically my positives and negatives, guys. The portrait's good. The portrait is going to be quite good. It's not quite as good as it could have been, but then again, what is? You know, like, honestly. Okay, that's my overall thoughts. The paint is awesome on this statue. The sculpt is good. The portrait's good. You know, basically that's the positives and negatives. Moving on, we're gonna get into the overall, like, now I'll get this out of the way now. She is quite scantily clad, and so that, and you know, I mean, yes, most statue buyers are male, and so it does go to that. But we'll just get that out of the. I'll just say that now. She is, like my sister calls a slutty McSlut. So there you go. But we'll just, I mean, she is, and she is quite attractive. Now, some would say she's a little over. I'd say she's just on the cusp of being okay. That's a little bit too much. I would say she's just before that cusp. But now we'll get back to this. The base is really cool, mostly because of the coloring. And the camera does a great job of picking this up, actually. We'll give this a once round. It has good, the sculpt is good, My biggest issue with the base is the seam issue. Big seam there, decent seam up here, but overall, it's nice. It's a really nice base, and I really like how it goes from this lighter, the lighter yellow coloring, and it gets darker red the further up you go, and then into a hair where it's it's a definite red color. Like, you can really tell that, like, here is when it really starts to change. And I also really like this section here where it it's a yellowish, and then orange, and then red. So that I do really like. They didn't go with just like a yellow and then red. And quite rarely is it just yellow. A lot of times there's a great amount of shading in there. It's a really well done base. It's just really well done. Again, the seams is an issue, but besides that, it's quite well done. We'll start with her feet now and move on up. Like I mentioned before, the boots are nice. The sculpt in the legs is quite good. It's not amazing. And like I said, it is kind of one color. I do wish like they would have added a strap or something to change up the color right there. But it's I would say they're not quite as good as my Hawk Girl legs. Just because the paint there is lacking just a little bit. But something that kind of bugged me. It doesn't bug me as much anymore. But with this left leg here, the boots, blah blah blah. But then her legs clearly quite bent. This knee at the beginning, to me, it seemed too big. Now it's grown on me slightly, and don't worry, you guys will be able to see this more in the close-ups. It has grown on me. It still seems a little bit too. Her kneecap seems a little bit too big. Just a little bit. I mean, that's a very small nitpick, but I just wanted to say that. And now do note that the boots do have the white line, the white tops to it. So I guess that's that. I mean, I would have liked to see a white thing down here, but just to mix up a little bit. The bottom of the boots are not sculpted. There's nothing there. They're just at least, yeah, no. I only had checked one, so I had to check the other one. So unlike the Hawk Girl, and for me, that's something that I check for most statues. It's just a level of detail kind of thing. Most of Prime 1 statues do. One of my only nitpicks about my Brainiac statue was his foot that's going up like this on the base. There was nothing to it. So that was one of the only things that, like the only thing that Hawk Girl had better than he did. Go check out my Hawk Girl unboxing and my review. They're up on my channel right now. I will let you know this right now. I do think she is slightly better than Hawk Girl. It was close. I was going back and forth. They are very different pieces, and I just think slightly, and it's just and they're both done well. I think she's just slightly better. Moving on from the boots, I mean, it's well sculpted. Her thighs, her butt area, well done. Her stomach, everything there is well done. The arms, the gauntlets. Now, I will say for this arm, and this I'm saying a positive here, her shoulders and her biceps here are actually quite well done. You can definitely tell that she is quite strong. You guys can't really tell that from here, but trust me, you will when I show you guys close-ups. And the gauntlets are fine. Again, it's a quite simple paint job, I guess you could say. And then we'll talk about this hand. The hand that's holding it, like this. the fingers could have definitely been sculpted better. She does have purple nail polish on, which is a good detail. It's kind of a lavender color. It's not. It's lighter than the main purple. Now this flame though is awesome. Now a lot of people complained when the prototype came out that the flame was like not a good color, and they changed the color, so that's really nice. And it's a great green color, so that's nice. Her chest, again, very well done. Her portrait, or her necklace that she's wearing, it's good. I wouldn't say it's great. She is wearing a jewel, which you guys really can't tell, but it's right down here, and that's okay. It's kind of like see-through. It's a reddish, kind of a ruby kind of a color, and it's okay. But she's kind of wearing the same kinds of things here around her neck. They're just smaller jewels, and it's fine. Her hair, again, is nice. I'm not a fan of the fact that she's got like things that seem like they broke off. I am, however, a fan of, she's got some strands of hair here, which you guys can't really see, but that's nice. A nice touch. Her portrait's really well done. She's looking off to her right, and I'm very sorry, guys. My light is bad. Like, I have like 7 lights in here, and it's bad. So you guys can't really even see the colors. So I do apologize. But here we go. I'll do this very quickly, because I have a lot of stuff, other stuff to talk about. So here we go. Nice detail. Oops. There we go. The further it goes up, the redder it gets. Then here's going to be the seam that I'm talking about here. Right there. That's the port that fits into the base, so. Then you also got this guy. Boom. Pretty cool. And I definitely do apologize for the light. But really cool paint there. I have number 164, and I just realized I haven't talked about the exclusive item at all. Don't worry, we will discuss him. Going up, there's the other seam. This seam was port of the second base section. So there's that seam. But again, the red, the oranges, the yellows, really well done. Just trying to avoid her leg there, sorry. There you guys go, that's the middle there. Going up, and we'll stop where it meets, where it basically turns into a hair here by her hand. Pretty cool. And God, the lighting. I'm glad that I took photos, guys, because I've never understand. The best lighting I've had in a long time was on my porch, and I do apologize. But as you guys can see right there, it doesn't quite touch the bottom. And I'll give you guys the whole thing, actually. And then see how it basically is now red. And then it basically becomes hair there. So see the switch from fire to hair. And then there was definitely some shading in the hair. But there we go. And then I will definitely show you guys what I mean about it seeming like it's broken. So you guys can see that there. How that really just looks like it's just broken off. And you guys might be saying, it is broken. No, it's not. But it looks like it is, and that is one of my biggest issues with the statue. Okay. Let's start now here with the boots. Like I mentioned, decent sculpt, decent paint. Here's the white section. And I definitely apologize for the light. It's just, I've never been able to get lighting well done. That's why I took pictures for this statue. Other leg. The knee seems a little bit big to me, but maybe that's just me. Thigh. Butt. Quite well done. Here's the back over here, and then I'll also show you guys what I mean about the arm. So see there how it's quite well sculpted, and then the gauntlet, hand. You guys can see the nail polish if it focuses. Let's see if it focuses. It might not. Okay, and now you guys can see that on camera that looks like it's much brighter in person. So don't worry, the photos will definitely go along with it. We'll just do her other arm here. Her shoulder, nicely done, quite strong, well sculpted. This hand might focus. No, it's not going to focus as well. And getting a look at that thumb is very difficult. Don't worry, it's definitely there. It's right there. Okay. Now we can look at that. And you really can't see that there's even a jewel there at all. But there is. Look at her stomach, her chest. Now, I'll try to show you guys the paint. There it is. So it's right there. You guys can see that white flecks there. Quite small, but it is there, and it is noticeable. The jewel, you guys can, there we go. Jewels on a necklace. And finally her portrait. I'll try to show you guys the yellow kind of eye. It's more yellow in person, and the paint in her eye isn't the best. It's somewhat sloppy paint work there. The other eye is kind of hidden behind her hair. It's definitely there though. And she's wearing a purple reddish lipstick. So there we go. There's the close-ups. I'll give you guys just a once more close up here. The view from her foot. Excuse me, guys. Wow. That was kind of embarrassing. But there we go. There's all the close-ups. Okay, so now you guys probably won't be able to see me doing this section, but I will just go over the photos that you guys will be looking at. So let's get ready for that. Okay, so first up, like I mentioned, that is going to be the color of the flame. See how it's a lot brighter in person, like I was trying to tell you? So there it is. We have a couple photos of this now. There's it from a different angle, I guess you could say. And then the third angle. I just wanted to give you guys all the angles. Moving on, a better picture of the base. That's basically all the colors all together. A different angle of the base there. kind of, there we go. There's a picture of the kind of, I took that kind of for the seam. I have 5 different categories. Each one is going to, each section of hose basically going to slot into one of those categories. Now do note, and this is a big note about my ranking system. All statues need to fall into this ranking system. Not all statues are equal. What do I mean by that? I mean, 75% of the time, Prime 1 Studio statues are going to be better than Sideshow statues. Okay, 65 to 70% of the, I would say 70% of the time. So, because of that, you are not going to see Sideshow pieces get into the 40s. Okay, well, let me, hold on a second. Let me backtrack. You know, there's 5 categories, 1 through 10, total out of 50. 40s, amazing, greatest, like, unbelievable statue. 30s, fabulous statue. Great, 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 impeccable statue. 20s, lower 20s, the statue's good. Higher 20s, the statue's really good. So that's kind of my rating scale. To put it in perspective, Hawk Girl got a 24. At least I'm pretty sure she got a 24. You'd have to go back and watch that review. So, and I really like my Hawk Girl statue. I really like that statue. So, there you go. You know, like, to get a 30, like, several of my new 52 statues would get in the low 32s. For example, I probably own 1 or 2, probably, I would say at the most 3 statues that are in the 40s, and probably only 2. Probably, I don't know. And I know I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but I'll just get through this fast. My Brainiac easily in the 40s. And what's funny is that I actually haven't done that review in this new system. I've only done my Hawk Girl. I'm probably gonna go back and do all the other ones in this format, but he's gonna be in the 40s. My Deathstroke Arkham Origins is probably gonna be, he'll be less than Brainiac, because Brainiac is easily the best statue I own. It's not really even a competition. And then probably my Dark Knight Returns 1/3 scale is he's probably going to be in the higher 30s, you know, and she doesn't, you know, like, she doesn't compete with those. So, there you go. Okay. With that being said, we are going to get started. The categories are, I'll tell them quick and then I'll do them. Base, design, or the pose, kind of. So, you know, the overall aspect, basically, of the statue. The sculpt, the paint, and the portrait. So those are my 5 categories. And so we will get started here with the base. Now remember, a 10 base is my Brainiac base. One of the greatest bases ever made for a statue. And as you guys can see here, and don't worry, I have statues I have things, so each number will relate to a statue, which you guys can see here. So the base, or will relate to a statue's base. So now, to get started on the section, let's do this. The base is going to be a 5 out of 10. So as you guys can see there, it's basically the same. It might be slightly better. It might be about the same as that Green Lantern statue. Moving on from that, the pose and the design, basically the how she looks, the creativity, 5.5. out of 10. The sculpt, I give a flat 5 to. Quite good. Now, I will speak about this. I kind of forgot to mention this. On her upper stomach area here, they really did a good job of, you can see her ribs, and you can see kind of the bone that's sticking out. You can really hear, and you also can somewhat on the other side. And the camera's not doing a very good job, but you guys can see that, kind of. The lighting is terrible, but you guys can kind of see that right there. You guys can see that there's the indents there. So that is a nice sculpt thing there. Sculpt 5. Paint. This is what this statue shines with paint, literally. 7. So that's going to be definitely the highest out of anything this statue has to offer. So well done on the paint. The portraits or portrait. Now what troubles me about this portrait is it's really good, but it only comes with 1. Now I can't knock it for coming with 1, but I can't elevate it because it, and like this is the quintessential statue that wouldn't come with more than 1. So I gave the portrait a 4.5, which, if you guys can see there, it's in between. It's better than that. It's definitely better than that Hawk Girl. It's gonna be better than both of Hawk Girl's portraits, is what I'm trying to say. It's very close to a 5, but I just gave it a 4.5. So you take all of those together, and it equals a 27. So she's going to be higher rated. She's going to be in my opinion, a better statue than my Hawk Girl. You guys might think that's crazy. You guys might completely and totally agree with that. So there you guys go. That is basically my rating of this piece. Let's measure her. She's quite wide. We will begin, though, like everything else, with the height. It says she's 19 inches. The tallest part of her is going to be, I would assume, and she's about 19 3/4, I would say. Now, why don't we also give Beast Boy some love here and measure him. Beast Boy is going to come in at, I would say about exactly 5. Okay, width. God, this is tough. Around 14 and a half, maybe. I would say 14 and a half. We'll check the diagonal, actually. The diagonal is about just under 14. And the depth, I suck at measuring, I'm sorry, about 11 and a half. So there we go. There's going to be the measurements, guys, of the StarFire and Beast Boy. I'm sorry, I didn't do the width and the depth of Beast Boy, but Can you guys forgive me?